The Chargers only allowed 6 points to the Jets and played great defense. Now, how much of that was the Chargers playing great defense rather than the Jets playing bad offense? I've seen a lot of people downplaying this win, but the Jets have beat the Eagles, the Bills, and lost to the Chiefs by a fourth quarter field goal. Plus, they came into this game on a 3-game winning streak. So I'm going to explain to you guys why the Chargers defense is the reason they won this game and special teams. So while I do that, make sure to like and subscribe if you do enjoy this content. It helps me out so much. Now, throughout the first half of this season, man, this Chargers defense looked awful. Don't forget, in week 1, the Dolphins, that pass defense was atrocious, and the game plan was even worse. They allowed Tua to throw for 466 yards and 3 tutties while leaving Tyreek Hill one-on-one on several occasions, which led to him having 215 yards and 2 touchdowns. And they allowed the Dolphins to score 36 points. That offense was great, yeah, but the game plan was the most concerning aspect of that game. Why did they completely shut down that offense last year in a really good game plan by Brandon Staley, and then this season they looked completely lost, left the middle of the field open, and allowed your slowest cornerback coming off a season-ending leg injury, J.C. Jackson, who's not even on the team anymore. Why did you put him in man coverage against the best and fastest wide receiver in the NFL in Tyreek Hill? It made no sense, and obviously it didn't work at all. But hey, the Dolphins just have a really good offense, right? Well, let's move on to week 2. They played the Titans. They brought up more of that same issue. Asante Samuel Jr. led up a 70-yard catch to Treylon Burks. The defense allowed 27 points to the Titans offense, who's not really that great. Ryan Tannehill, who may have lost the starting quarterback job because of Will Levis, threw for 246 yards and was 20 for 24. Part of the reason for that is because the defense had to account for Derrick Henry and Tyjae Spears on the ground, but also because they were giving a lot of space to the wide receivers on the outside, and the Titans were throwing well off of play action. Ryan Tannehill had an elite PFF grade of 92.5. Are you kidding me? That was his best game in the past 2 years. Kenneth Murray, though, and Tuli Tuipulotu were starting to emerge on defense in spite of how terrible the defense had been performing thus far. Now we move on to week 3 against the Vikings, and Kirk Cousins threw for 367 yards and 3 touchdowns. They allowed 24 points, and Justin Jefferson, man, 149 yards and a touchdown. The rush defense allowed 130 yards to Alexander Mattison, and we started questioning the guys on this defense, man. Where is Derwin James? Where is Joey Bosa? Khalil Mack? I've never heard of these guys. Why are all of our star players not playing well on defense? And then week 4 happened against the Raiders. Much better performance, and we finally saw Khalil Mack have a huge impact in pass rush. He had 6 sacks, and the Chargers defense was swarming the Raiders offense all night long, but we were still annoyed with the defenders playing 10 yards off, and the Raiders threw for over 200 yards still because of how much space the defenders were giving up on the outside and their inability to come up and make the tackle. Then we had our bye week, and after the bye week came the Cowboys and the Chiefs, and in both of these games, the defense was rough. CeeDee Lamb and Travis Kelce tore us up all night, and the Chargers had no answer for either of them. On top of that, the team was missing tackles, they looked slow, and they were still playing so far off of the wide receivers, and the offense would just take up all of the yardage that the cornerbacks were leaving for them, and the middle of the field was consistently vacant, and it felt like the Chargers had no hope of having even an average pass defense. Brandon Staley's seat was flaming hot. I wanted him fired, and he told the media that they need to reset as a team. Since then, this defense has only allowed 19 points in total. They played the Bears and forced 2 interceptions while keeping Tyson Bagent uncomfortable all night. Asante Samuel Jr. late in that game started flying around and flying downfield much faster and with better anticipation on the throws, which made that 10-yard cushion that he gives up harder for the offense to take advantage of. Joey Bosa, Khalil Mack, and Derwin James, they all showed up and made a positive impact in that game. And now They just whooped the Jets, and the defense was feasting on that offense from start to finish, bro. Zach Wilson threw for 49 passes and was sacked 8 times, but he was pressured 41 times. That means he only got the ball off cleanly 8 times in this game out of almost 50 attempts. I don't care who is back there at quarterback. Put Aaron Rodgers back there. That is a recipe for disaster on offense. All the Chargers star players showed up, and Alohi Gilman was exceptional, man. With a team-high 90.8 elite PFF grade, Joey Bosa was getting sacks and getting that ball out. Khalil Mack, Morgan Fox, Sebastian Joseph Day, Tuli Tuipulotu, they were all dominating in the run and the pass game. And Derwin James, he set the tone with some hard but clean hits and had his best game of the season, and it is not even close. So, what happened? Did the game plan change? What did Brandon Staley do in the reset? No, the game plan is basically the same. They're still playing that same defense with the soft zones and giving up a lot of space on the outside. But what did change was the defensive mentality. They look like they have an edge now, and they're playing faster, more instinctual, and clearly way more physical. I don't care what you think of the Bears or the Jets as an offense. They are all NFL players. And as a defense, when you have such a dominant outing in 2 weeks in a row like this, not only does it build confidence and momentum, but it tells me that they have flipped a switch and they are playing more inspired. This Chargers defense has forced 5 turnovers in these past 2 weeks, and you can argue that they should have had more because of how well they played. I'm thinking back to that Asante Samuel Jr. play where he jumped the route in the Bears game and almost had that interception. On top of that, the special teams unit has had a surge in these past 2 games, just like the defense has. So that tells me this isn't just playing bad teams, but this is a trend for the Chargers philosophy. Bro, that special teams unit, they are tackling well, they are playing fast, they're kicking well, and oh my gosh, they are returning the football really freaking well, man. Shout out to Darius Davis, shout out Cameron Dicker too while I'm at it, Tanner Muse, Nick Neiman, Amen Ogbongbemiga. They're all really good on special teams. And when you have a bunch of guys like I just named that are playing well on special teams, that is a mark of good coaching. When your special teams unit is clicking the way that they are, and now this defense has put it together, all we need is the offense to fall into place, man. And if that happens, I genuinely think that we could be looking at a deep playoff run for this team. I have been bolted up this whole time, and I want Brandon Staley to go after this season. Honestly, he would have to do something crazy for me not to want him gone after this year. But the way that he has turned this team around since declaring that reset, man, are you still not sold on them and convinced that they just played bad competition? I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because in my opinion, this defense and special teams units, they both look like they're playing way more inspired, and I think that it is clear to see that. And the praise for that should be given to the coaching staff, with Ryan Ficken, the special teams coach, Derek Ansley, the defensive coordinator, and yes, Brandon Staley too. If we turn the season around, the Brandon Staley reset was the best thing to happen to the Chargers since we drafted Justin Herbert. Now what the Chargers need to do is prove that they can play at this level against a good team. The Lions are coming up on Sunday after their bye week, and if we can beat them, then everybody should be bought into this Chargers team because of the way this defense is playing, the special teams, and Justin Herbert, he's still injured on offense. We're without Joshua Palmer, and we're without Mike Williams. Corey Linsley is gone. We have some issues with tight ends, a lot of problems with this offense, but still, when you have a guy like Justin Herbert, he can take your offense to different levels. So everybody should be bought into this team, especially if we beat the Lions, man. Stay bolted up, and I will see you guys in the next video. But also, if you didn't see this video right here, I went over everything to take away from the Jets game.